Welcome to Doctorate Voice. Today our topic is fluency tips. How to speak English fluently. That is our topic. So, how to speak English fluently? Everybody wants to speak English fluently. What are the ways to speak English fluently? What are the main tips to speak English fluently? That is our topic today. So, why and how to speak English fluently? So the way we speak our mother tongue fluently, we never exposed to Telugu grammar, we never exposed to Hindi grammar, but we speak our mother tongue fluently. How do we speak language fluently, our mother tongue fluently? So from basics onwards, just imitation, by imitating our mother, just we start imitating our mother by uttering few words at early age. A child try to imitate its mother. A child imitate its mother. Small words. It is called elementary. A child learns words, try to utter words before writing alphabet, before using A, B, C, D like it. Before handling a pen, a child tries to imitate its mother. So, imitation is the best method to speak out language. So, at early age, child imitates its mother by uttering few words, by taking a lot of effort. A small word takes 1 or 2 days. Mother teaches child, try to imitate, let's say ma or mother or father or dad or mom. It takes days time for the child to imitate his mother. It is called elementary. So after that, after this word expression, a child is provided couple of words or phrases. Phrases are used to speak word language. So it is the same way to improve our fluency techniques. Fluency depends upon a different track than written language. Why present day students or people are not good at language fluency? The reason is we learnt language in a wrong method, not in a proper method. When a child joins in a school, immediately he is asked to start writing alphabet, 26 alphabet. By taking so much of effort, day one onwards, forced to write 26 alphabet. And the way we write the language, the same way the teachers taught the children to speak the language. Actually, writing is a quite different track from speaking language. Writing is different, speech is different. When we speak mother tongue is different. The way we write mother tongue is different. When we speak, we use phrases. When we write complete sentences. Suppose, for example, a person knocks the door, he wants to enter to the room. So, if it is written like it, may I come in, sir? May I come in, sir? It is a sentence. It is a grammatically correct sentence. So, what is an idea? Come in or come in, sir. May I is understood, not necessary. When we speak, we use only ideas. Many times subjects are understood, objects are also understood. No need of subject and object. Only phrase and phrasal verb is important. In English, phrasal verbs are used very frequently. Native people use phrasal verb frequently. So, read out is a phrasal verb. Come on, speak out, read out. These are phrasal verbs. Our speech depends upon our phrases as well as phrasal verbs, but not sentences. When we write, we use sentences. When we speak, we use ideas. It is about idea to idea, connecting one idea to another idea. It is the best way to focus on fluency. It is the way to develop your fluency techniques, not written language. Why? Because written alphabet is 26 letters, speech alphabet is 44 letters in English language. It varies, completely different from it. In other languages, throughout the languages, world global languages, no other language is having this kind of complexity except English language. 26 letters, writing letters, 44 letters, speech letters. So it is the biggest hurdle, one more hurdle. So how to speak English fluently? Come out of your written language, come out of grammar. You don't need to focus on grammar. Grammar doesn't make you to speak language fluently. Grammar makes you how to write correct sentences. Sentences are part of written language. Ideas are part of spoken language. Speech is a different track, writing is a different track. You cannot travel in two vehicles at a time. Whether you travel one bus or another bus, one vehicle or another vehicle. The same way, if you imagine that, so your mother tongue is right hand and your other tongue or English is left hand. If you have two eyes, your right eye is mother tongue, your left eye is English language. Isn't it? The same way, these two are quite different. Written language is different, spoken language is different. But unfortunately, we mix up these two, spoken language and written language. And we thought that the same pattern, the same way we write and we speak, it is not possible, it is impossible to speak the way you write. So better to stop thinking this kind of pattern, written language as well as spoken language. The first and foremost technique on tip is, or important point is, written language is different, spoken language is different. The way you write is different, the way you speak is different. When you write, you use sentences. When you speak, you use ideas. Sentences, subject, verb, object. Subject and object is also important in sentence. In speech, subject and object is not important because you speak to some other person. The person knows and you are interacting with other person. You don't need to speak about yourself and you don't need to speak about opposite person because it is a live interaction. Whether you speak to one person, whether you speak to one to two or more people, whether you speak to hundreds of people, not necessary to speak about yourself as well as others, except in the beginning, in initial time. So subject and object is not at all important in speaking language or in spoken language. But subject and object is very important in written language. Written communication is different, spoken communication is different. So here, the main part is written language is different, spoken language is different. It is first and foremost important point. Try to remember this one. Next important point and technique to speak language fluently is stop thinking dual minds. Don't translate from your mother tongue to English language, English to your mother tongue. Stop thinking bilingual. Bi means two, lingua means tongue in Latin language. Two languages. Especially people, those whose native language is not English, they simply translate their ideas from their mother tongue to English language or English language to Telugu language. They simply translate one language to another language. There is a gap between your thinking and your expression. Suppose you want to speak English, you think in English. If you want to speak in Telugu, and think in Telugu. So many times I told my students when I take classes for graduates, I said, so I have two hearts, or I have a heart and a mind. My heart is about my mother tongue. When I speak my mother tongue, I use my heart. When I speak my mother tongue, I use my heart. When I speak English language, I use my mind because it is mind language. Quite different. You cannot mix up these two. If you think that my mother tongue is right hand, my other tongue or English language is left hand. My mother tongue is right eye and my English language is left eye. Two different tracks. You cannot club it. You cannot mix up. because every language has its own format, its own structure, its own grammar, its own identity. So in English, there are 44 speech alphabet. There are 44 speaking letters. In Telugu, 56 letters. Even in English itself, 26 letters are used for writing, 44 letters are used for speech. Then how can you mix up these two languages, Telugu to English, English to Telugu? Once you start speaking English, forget about your mother tongue. You lock your mother tongue. Once you start speaking Telugu language, lock your English language. Because these two are different tracks, two types of language skills. You never mix up these two. So you think in English. If you want to speak language fluently, English language fluently, stop thinking your mother tongue. You forget your mother tongue. Switch off your mother tongue. And you keep on focusing on English language, whether it is right or not, whether it is correct or not. First you think in English, you try to express in English. It is second important point. First one is spoken language is different, written language is different. Spoken language is about ideas, written language is about sentences. The first point, very important point in fluency. Second is stop thinking in dual languages. Translation method, bilingual method is very dangerous to speak English fluently. Many people fail to speak language fluently because they think in Telugu language, their mother tongue. Later they translate it to English language. Or they are always trying to change from one language to another language, jump from one language to another language. That's why today's world, so much of media and business world is filled with bilingual languages. It means that, so Tinglish means Telugu plus English is mixed. Hindi plus English is mixed. It is called Hinglish, Tinglish. These kind of languages not necessary. Suppose you want to use English, you use English only. Whether it is right or not, you don't bother about. It is second point. Stop thinking in your mother tongue, or stop translating your ideas from mother tongue to other language to mother tongue. You never translate your ideas from one language to another language. So second point, very important point. First point is speech is different, writing is different. Speech is about ideas and writing is about sentences. Second point is about bilingual method. Monolingual method is preferable. Single language. Mono means single. Lingua means language. Single language. Bilingual means bi means two. Lingua means language. Two language method is dangerous. Never try to translate your ideas from Telugu to English or English to Telugu or Hindi to English, English to Telugu. It is the main problem with it is the main drawback with rural students where they are studying in regional language. So even English is also translated to Telugu language, Telugu is also translated to English language. It is not correct. If you want to speak language fluently, if you want to get command over the language, try to forget your mother tongue and keep it aside while using English language. Once you start using mother tongue, you stop using this language. It is like two SIMs in your mobile. So if you have a mobile smartphone, there are two SIMs in it. You cannot call with two SIMs at a time. Whether you can use SIM 1 or SIM 2. If you use SIM 1, automatically SIM 2 will be blocked. If you use SIM 2, SIM 1 will be blocked. It is the same way to use your language, to speak your language is about bilingual language is not preferable. Only monolingual languages or monolingual method is preferable. So instead of two languages, use only one language. Translation method should not be accepted in fluency. It is second point. Third point, when you speak language fluently, what should you do? The best method is like a train. Once you look at a train, so it is one box is added to another box, one bogie is added to another bogie. Chain of ideas. It is like a huge chain link. Suppose this is the first bogie and second bogie, there is a link, and again third bogie, fourth bogie, around 20-30 bogies are there. So the same way your speech is also like it. You collect ideas, you gather ideas, and your duty is Not mix up those ideas. Add one idea to another idea. Add one idea to another idea. If you collect 100 ideas, your duty is not to mix up those 100 ideas. If you mix up those 100 ideas, you will be confused. You get confused by mixing up those ideas. The best method is to add first idea to second idea to third idea to fourth idea, fifth idea, like it. It is a chain of ideas. Then the language flows in a extraordinary manner. It is very important point is third point is flow of words, flow of expressions. And one more thing, instead of looking at a word, the next important point is when you want to increase your fluency, the best thing is instead of looking at words, look at 2 words or 3 words at a time. The best method. When you want to speak, instead of speaking 1 word at a time, try to use 2 words, 3 words at a time. It is the rapid way to speak language fluently. It is in a super fast way to speak language fluently. So why students or children are not fluent in English? Because they are given word expression. They are given highest importance is given to words instead of ideas. They think that if I skip this word or that word, automatically I commit mistakes, grammatical mistakes or that. No, it is not correct. Why so much of grammar has been taught in our school? Actually, in primary school, grammar should not be taught. Grammar comes automatically. Just you give some basics about grammar, structure of the grammar, fundamental grammar, verb patterns, different kinds of verb patterns. It is enough. Basic structure, grammatical structure is enough. Unfortunately, in our academic world, from LKG to PG, graduate level, postgraduate level, so the same grammar, articles, LK, first class to BTech level or graduate level, prepositions. There is no use of prescribing these kind of things. Dry grammar or that's why students are scared to use English language. They think that okay, English is a terrible language. Better to quit from this. Just only appear for the examination and get marks. It's enough. When they go for interviews, when they go for placements, when they go for job opportunities, they fail to express themselves fluently because the problem is not with them. The way they are trained up means oral training is not there. They are not given opportunity to expose to oral language skills. So technique is missed. The same flow of ideas have been missed. So the best way is instead of asking them to speak out words word by word, when you ask students at least a reading skill, they read word by word. When you ask them to speak out, they speak word by word instead of 2 words and 3 words at a time. Why? Because instead of focusing on phrases, just we focus on words. Words are of no use. If you want to increase your fluency, if you want to improve your fluency, better to focus on phrases instead of single words. One more point, third point. Just a chain of ideas. You try to collect a number of ideas, different ideas, and your duty is to add one idea to another idea. Keep on moving it. It is the third point. Next, fourth one is forget about grammar. Forget about grammar. Forget about correct sentences. Whether sentences are correct or not, whether ideas are correct or not, just keep on moving it. If your focus is on grammar, just your fluency will be lost. Your focus will be on grammar. Your focus is on grammar. Whether I have spoken right or not, whether I have spoken correctly or not, whether my expression is correct or not, I have spoken right or not. If you keep on focusing on, just automatically you lose your concentration on your ideas. Your duty is to focus on your ideas, to keep on moving it, to keep on moving it. So in your speech, if you commit 10 or 15 mistakes, no problem. If you ignore your mistakes, automatically you will be proficient in speaking. If you keep on counting your mistakes, you don't do or you don't speak anymore. If you keep on looking at your mistakes, you don't speak any language fluently. The way we speak our mother tongue, the same way you do in English language also. So instead of counting your mistakes, try to focus on your ideas. So the best method is try to collect ideas, number of ideas, and add one idea to another idea. and keep on moving your ideas. It is the best method to speak language fluently. So when you, one more important point is, one more important technique is, when you read, instead of reading single words, read 2 words and 3 words at a time. When you look at any board, any signboard, or any English sentences, any English words, instead of looking at single word, look at 2 words, 3 words at a time. When you want to speak, try to speak 2 words and 3 words at a time instead of single words. Don't give pauses in between word to word. Give pauses in between 2 words and 3 words after 3 words. If you pick up word, there is a gap between word to word, just you keep on giving much pauses in the language, their fluency is lost. If you keep giving gap in between 2 words or 3 words after 3 words after 3 words, then your fluency will be okay, on the same track, on the proper talk. So it is a small talk on fluency. So instead of looking at single words, look for ideas. Add one idea to another idea. Keep a chain of ideas. Ignore your faults, ignore your flaws. Don't bother about your mistakes. Your aim is to keep on moving, to keep on speaking. One more thing is, try to listen before speak. Try to collect ideas, gather ideas. Try to learn phrasal verbs, hundreds of phrasal verbs in a day-to-day life. Read out, speak out, turn off, switch off, turn off the light. So if you want to say in speech, turn off. If you look at a light and say turn off, means immediately it gives the complete meaning. When you add one idea to another idea, unfortunately what we are doing, we are connecting one sentence to another sentence. Because that is the drawback of language speaking. When you add one sentence to another sentence, it is a lengthy process. Their fluency track will be lost. Their people are not fluent. It takes much time to use all sentences, subject, verb, object, everything. So add one sentence to another sentence takes much time than add one idea to another idea. Suppose one sentence is having 6 words and second sentence is having 6 words, and 12 words. Suppose in first sentence only phrasal verb or idea or phrase is first sentence 2 words and second sentence 2 words, means 4 words. It is easy for you to add 4 words, 2 words, 2 words, 4 words. And 12. How it is? 3 times more. So it is the worst thing. Still people are connecting sentence to sentence to speak their language, to utter their language. So it is not correct. It is not the proper way to speak the language. The best way is add one phrase to another phrase. Add one idea to another idea. Add one phrasal verb to another phrasal verb. And it is the best way to speak language fluently, and focus is on fluency. It is one more method. Next technique is, if it is possible, try to speak small topics, weekly one topic. And it is the way to read or to speak. It is the best method to improvise your fluency. If you want to speak, if you want to improve your fluency, just you need to focus on ideas. You need to focus on monolingual language, single language. You never try to translate from your mother tongue to English language, English to mother tongue. So these are the techniques. Instead of looking at single words, look at 2 words and 3 words at a time. Try to focus on phrasal verbs. Instead of mix of ideas, add one idea to another idea. Suppose you collect 100 ideas and you add one idea to another idea, total 100 ideas, like a chain. It is like a train. A train is having 50 bogies or 60 bogies or whatever it may be. They are not mixed up. They are adding one bogie to another bogie. The same way your fluency track is also like it. If you want to improve, if you want to focus on fluency, if you want to develop your fluency technique, the best thing is try to learn these techniques instead of mixing up ideas, instead of focusing on grammar, instead of focusing on written language, instead of focusing or concentrating on bilingual method, 2 language method, instead of translating your ideas from your mother tongue English language to another language, instead of focusing on written language, Instead of focusing on your mistakes, try to focus on the track. The best track is ideas. Pick up two words or three words and add one idea to another idea. It is the method, it is the methodology of fluency technique. Thank you very much, and give your support and present your reviews by videos or audios or whatever it may be. Thank you very much. Meet you again in next video. This is about fluency techniques. Again, I take one more video on fluency techniques. This is only introduction on fluency. The part 1 fluency, part 1. Just I give you brief introduction regarding to fluency techniques. Next video will be given to you based on complete structure of fluency techniques. After that, again a tree diagram will be given to you, as I gave you a tree diagram for communication skills. I did 2 videos on communication skills. A diagram was provided to you. Again, for this fluency, this is part 1. Part 2, after completion of part 2, a diagram will be given to you how to enhance your fluency techniques. If you practice, automatically you get this track. All you need is practice. So follow these rules instead of focusing on academics, instead of looking for only for examination system. Our academics is about examination system, but we need communication. This is completely different track. So thank you very much. I'll meet you again. Thank you.